Hi, good afternoon. This is Austin Thompson with another On Location Spotlight interview with Thompson Management Consulting. I have Samantha Samuels with AuthenticMe Consulting today. We're going to be discussing mental health. Samantha is a mental health consultant and also a life coach. And in this pandemic, COVID-19, we're seeing a lot of cases where people are developing a lot of stress and anxiety leading to mental health disorders. And as a consultant, Samantha works with those who are suffering from stress and anxiety and mental health. And I had the pleasure of working with her on her strategic plan, and definitely wanted to invite her to sit down. We're here in a coffee shop, so you'll probably hear some coffee grinders going on, but we're definitely going to work through this interview. Samantha, how you doing?
I am doing well, Austin. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Number one, you traveled to me, so I appreciate that. So thank you so much for having me.
I tell people, man, I go all over the place. You know, I'm gonna take. We're trying to socially distance as much as possible. We're still in COVID, but definitely we definitely respect the science and respect the facility we're in. They're complying with CDC guidelines, so we definitely want to make sure we stress the importance of mask wearing and gloves and sanitizers. But for the sake of audio and this video, we're just going to remove our mask for the video and then put it back on really quick. So in mental health, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into mental health.
You know, it's something, and I always say, oh, how I got in, and then I says, no, I just lied. It was a journey that God had me on, and I didn't realize it. And really, it started from this simple thing of me saying, I'm creating this prayer breakfast, and then naming it Authentic Me. But from that purpose of naming it Authentic Me was like this journey that I began to start to find myself, discover who I am, why am I here, what is my purpose, and all of that. And then I would, you know, we're from the Caribbean.
Right, exactly.
And so when you don't hear about depression and anxiety, you know, you don't really affiliate, you know, your hands shaking or the nervousness as stemmed from anxiety.
Exactly.
But as I began to do the research and began to feel like, wait, something is wrong at a particular time, and I would just either I freeze up, or I am panicking, and I needed to find a root cause. Because if anyone knows me, I like to find the root cause of a problem.
That's right.
That's just me.
Right.
And so as I began realizing that this was an anxiety, and I said, you know what? I know what the world says to take medicine and all that, but I was going to find a natural way of controlling my anxiety.
Right.
I was going to find things that triggered what was triggering me. And so when I start pinpointing those things that were triggered, I am now proactive in preparing for that. So when something arises, I can say, okay, I realize what that is. That was a trigger. How do you take control of it?
Right. So you use your own personal experience.
Yes.
Right. And through your own personal experience, you developed a love for helping others, I'm assuming, right?
I thereabout began this journey, and then it was like a path that, and I know a lot, you know, may sound cliche of God is taking you on this path, but literally mine was a God, it was a walk, a faith walk.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And all I had to do was just walk the step, and He would open these doors.
Yes.
And I'm walking, and the doors were open, and you're like, okay. And then realizing that everything was fundamental. It was a mental state of mind before anything else. Just like we created in the mind.
Right.
You know, this building we're sitting in, this was created in the mind.
Exactly.
Us having here, you thought of, you know what, I want to do this. It was created in the mind, and that's what it became.
Right. What's your vision for Authentic Me? Where do you see Authentic Me 5-10 years from now?
You know, where I see Authentic Me 5-10 years from now is having a mental health facility, but not just focusing on individuals who do have anxiety and depression, but really there's 8 dimensions of mental health.
Right.
And as we can, we can negate the pandemic that we're
No, we can't. We cannot.
We cannot.
It's here, and we have to deal with it
we have
as
to deal
best
with
as
it.
possible.
And so it's addressing those 8 dimensions. But of course, not by myself, a team like
Right.
yourself and others.
Right.
How do we address what really takes place in with mental health? So my ultimate goal is to open a facility
Right.
to serve the community and to give them the resources that they need. Because what people need is resources. What people need to know, what people want to know, how can I get food on the table for my family?
Exactly.
How can
Exactly.
I pay my rent or my mortgage?
Exactly.
Those are things that cause anxiety and depression.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we often think of small businesses as our local accountants, our local financial advisors, the local cleaners, the local grocery outlet, the small manufacturing firm. But many of our consultants are those who have that spiritual background and those who have that love for helping others, especially in the areas of solving people's problems who are suffering from anxiety and stress and mental disorders, right? And and why the name Authentic Me? Authentic Me is this authenticity to the work that you're doing. Is that it, or is that?
It's going back to finding yourself. It's finding who you are, because when a person finds who they are, accepting that, I tell some of my clients, accept your good, your bad. Not some, but depending on the situation, you have to accept your good, your bad, and your indifferences.
Yes.
You almost
yes.
have to put yourself. That big mirror that when you get dressed, that's when you look in the mirror.
Yes.
You need to undress and look at yourself and say, I like the good, the bad, and the indifference in me.
That's right. Yeah.
And how can I, with my good, how can I strengthen that? With the bad, what do I need to, how can I use that bad but turn it into a good?
That's right.
And my
That's right.
indifferences is just who I am.
Right. Right.
So there was a first lady,
Yeah.
she said this. She said, I'm not for everybody, but I am for somebody.
For somebody.
And I'm going to give her props. First lady Laura Phelps.
Okay.
And so it's like, when we understand we're not for everyone, that eliminates literally a lot of our stress.
Right.
Because a lot of times we do things or don't do things because what will people say.
Right,
And
exactly.
so authentically is really accepting you and being true to who you are and who God has made you to be.
That's right, because once you can identify with me, right? I can identify with me, you that identify with you. Once we start working from within, there's a lot that we can solve, and being honest with ourselves
Yes.
on what's hurting us, right? What pains us, and how we can overcome these challenges and deal with these indifferences, because you can easily be fixed. Anyone can recover, right, from what they're challenged with, and that's what we want, right? And what is your passion for business development? As a consultant, you're marrying mental health and stress management and anxiety and your spiritual background with your consulting business, right? So what's your passion for business development?
So, I am born into a family of business.
Okay.
We are business owners.
Uh-huh.
We think, my dad have always said, it doesn't matter who you work for, always have your own.
Right.
So that's been embedded in me. I mean, it just ingrained like you're making bread. It was the yeast in my in the
Yeah.
bread, right, to make the bread.
That's true.
And then, so my bachelor's is in organizational leadership, and I did focus on small business and nonprofit.
I see.
But once I got that degree, I just laid it down, and I really never picked it up because at that time I was raising my family, my kids, and focusing on that.
Yeah.
But I struggled when I got into mental health. I said, but I still want to do business, and I kept going back and forth. How do I merge the two?
Right.
And that's when I realized some people, you have to get it up here. It's a mental thing before you even start.
That's right.
And so a lot of people may say, I want to get into business, but if you don't know the foundation. Now I'm not, when they want to do a business plan, I send them to you.
Right.
You're
right.
the person that I said, nope, I got the best person that you need to go to. That's Austin.
And I know nothing about solving mental health problems.
Yes.
I got my own issues to deal with. I got my own issues to deal with.
So I deal with it on a perspective of mentally getting your mind set.
Right.
not just, oh, I want to open a business, but don't understand the mental capacity of it.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
as you stated, you work with individuals from 0 to 5 years with business.
That's
because
right.
That's when
That's right. That's the critical. That's the
time,
critical
yes.
phase. And I can see in your area, there's a critical phase that you have to look at as well.
Yes.
Right. And what is your concerns about the state of mental health now that we're in the second year of this pandemic, right? We thought, oh yeah, 2020 is going to be gone, 2021 is going to be here. We're going to see, vaccines. We have a new administration who's taking responsibility for COVID planning, and we're all going to get these businesses back up, and we're going to go back to work, and we're going to be able to go out in massive crowds, but none of that is happening. We've seen the vaccines, right? We're seeing the COVID planning, but yet still socially distancing. We were speaking before this recording. Businesses closing at record levels, people losing jobs, the unemployment, in record numbers globally, not just here in the U.S.
Virtual learning.
Everything is virtual
from
now.
kindergarten all the way up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are your concerns about that?
It's a big concern because I also work for a company, a nonprofit organization right now as a case manager for children, adolescent, and emerging adults.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big concern.
Yeah.
There is a need for us to get into, and we don't really know how to right now to fix this problem because we're living in this. It's maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the individuals that's going to say, okay, this is how we probably should have done it.
Yeah.
But the little that we can do to help, even if it's one child. Like I have one individual right now. I have to find that teenager a facility to go because he cannot do virtual learning.
Right.
Now,
right.
I am hearing from parents who their kids were A/B students and they're F students now.
Wow.
That's a problem.
That's a big drop.
That is a big
From
drop.
A and B
From
to
an
F.
A and B to F. Not
Wow.
even a D.
Not even a C. That's detrimental.
That's what we're facing.
Yeah, and we were talking about the lost generation of young children,
Yes.
not getting access to the internet, not getting access to even a computer. Because a lot of families can't afford a laptop. They can't afford these internet services. So you have lower income families that are suffering and are struggling trying to get their kids the education they need.
Yes.
And now we're entering into this second year of the pandemic. We're going to see mental health issues and challenges, stress and anxiety continue to increase.
Yes.
As with this prolonged pandemic.
It's telling on the children because you think of a kindergarten doing virtual learning needs to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and be in front of the computer, put their screen on, and they can't move from their seat. I have an 8 and a 7-year-old client who says, Miss Samuels, I just don't like school. I don't like this sitting down. You just got to sit down and watch the computer all day. And I said, well, do you get a break? Well, they barely give us a break. We don't really get. So they fall in the same regiment, like if the child was in school, interacting with their friends, but it's not the same.
Right.
Because this child is forced to sit. Can you imagine if we were sitting like this all day for 8 hours?
Yes.
And then somebody's talking to you.
Yes.
And so it's something that we need to realize it's a problem.
That's right.
And especially now young kids. I'm very passionate about those younger ones. What will it do to them? Because kindergarten is your foundation.
Right.
Elementary school is your foundation.
Yeah.
And if you miss that,
and we talk,
where are they going to go?
And as a business consultant, and I work with many different folks. I work with folks in the business environment, folks in the political environment. And when we talk about mental health and stress and anxiety, you have entrepreneurs who invested their life savings into a business. And there are some statistics I read, 100,000, right, U.S. businesses will not recover from this pandemic. Right? I mean, we have about 30.5 million small businesses in the United States, but thousands upon thousands of businesses are closing their doors, not because they're doing bad business, but because the guidelines that we have to follow, and people are not shopping and going into restaurants in large numbers anymore. So a lot of these businesses are closing. They put their life savings into it. They drained their retirement accounts because they couldn't get access to capital through a bank or a lender. So you can imagine the level of stress and anxiety. Oh my God, what am I going to do now? And this is what, and it's not just here in the US, but this is global. This is that's the other pandemic that we have to also discuss, right?
Yeah.
The young people, the children, the teachers, suffering, parents, workers, business owners, right? So how does, let's say someone wants to reach out to you, right? What is the process for your business? How are your operations? How do you counsel? Do they come into you, or do you do it over the phone virtually? Is it through Zoom or phone? How does it work?
It's virtually via most of the time it's via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that the pandemic forced us, it was to go virtual.
Yes.
But
yes.
virtual also helped us in a way, because when we thought that we could only serve in our community,
Yes.
we were able to go globally.
Right.
We were able to serve. I served quite a few clients in the Caribbean.
Right. Yes.
Which I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
But I served quite a few clients in the Caribbean.
Right.
So virtual is where you can go. You can actually go to SamanthaSamuels.com.
Right.
And you can book a 30-minute free consultation.
Right. And that's SamanthaSamuels.com.
Yes. Yes.
And then we're gonna put all the contact information up there for you to see, and then we're going to repeat that email address when we get up to all the social media, because we definitely want you to reach out to Samantha. This is her area of expertise, and if there's anyone suffering in silence, you don't have to. You can reach out to Samantha Samuels and make sure you get that conversation going with her, to discuss what you're dealing with, what you're going through. And again, we're sitting in a coffee shop, so they're grinding some coffee, not for us. They didn't ask, but we're going to go over and get a cup after this interview is over.
Yes.
But I definitely want to read some statistics, because these are some alarming numbers, right? We talk about suicide and anxiety and depression, right? 1 in 5 people diagnosed with mental health disorder. 1 in 5.
1 in 5.
Right, with a mental disorder, right? 10% of Americans have an anxiety disorder, right? 7% of Americans suffer from depression,
Yes.
right? And then 7%. When we think 7% is just a small percentage, but you think we have over 300 million people in
millions,
America,
yes.
right? So you think 7% of 300 million, that's a large number.
Yeah, it comes up to about, I think the last time it was like 40 million.
Yeah, and that's significant.
Yes.
That's significant. 1 in 5 teenagers, 1 in 5 teenagers have or will have a mental illness, right? 123 Americans die by suicide every day, right? 1 death every 12 minutes, right? So when we talk about, mental health, this is significant. These statistics are significant. Yeah.
Yes. And one of the things that people want to, what we have learned to do is to put mental health in this bracket, like this amount of people.
Right.
But anyone can be affected, and the pandemic has shown us anyone can be affected by mental health, because mental health is really all about, are you functioning the way you were intended to function from birth?
Yes.
And when you have a job loss, you're stressing about something.
Yes.
Because you can't pay your bills.
You can't pay your bills.
How am I going to pay my bills? If you have children, you're a single parent. How am I putting food on the table?
Right.
That creates anxiety.
Yeah.
You have sleepless nights. So mental health is not just, when we were growing up, mental health was felt like, just those people over there. We can no longer put mental health in a bracket.
You can't.
It's only those people. No, mental health can affect any one of us at any given time.
That's right. And it's great that we have consultants and professionals like Samantha, because she can recognize when someone is suffering. And if you're suffering in silence, it's important to reach out to someone. It's important to reach out to individuals and let them know, I am suffering, I need help. Because when someone suffers in silence, that anxiety and depression, that's what leads to suicide.
Yes.
Because they feel that there's no hope.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You know. So you have an event coming up. Let's talk about that event. Unstuck. You know? And this is not, you know, pertaining to anyone putting Gorilla Glue in their hair or anything like that. You know, no, they're
this was
getting
way
unstuck.
before that.
This is way before
This
the
was way
Gorilla
before.
Glue
This
chat.
is actually my third. This is really my second session of being unstuck, but the first one I really had was a foundation where I started with yourself and a few other colleagues where we kind of brought together. And unstuck, accountability and goal setting is really on shifting people's mindset. It's coming back to mental health. It's shifting your mindset. You may have those individuals that say, you know, they want to do business. They know that they have something they want to, and they regurgitate and they keep going over and over again.
Right.
But they don't know where to start.
Right.
They don't know what to use. And as I stated earlier, I'm a Christian. So I use the biblical perspective because God and I have a lot of conversations. You know, and for whatever reason we have conversation in the shower.
Right. Right. We don't just sing in the shower.
No, we don't
talk
sing.
to
No,
ourselves
I
in the shower.
talk in the shower. I think about things in the shower. And then I was thinking, I said, wait, God, so you created this earth, and there's a lot of wealth in it, but only some people can enjoy it and some can't. Well, I want to help those individuals that have the idea. All I am is the foundation.
Right.
It's just to give you the foundation. Now, when they want a business plan and all that, I said, I got my friend Austin.
Right.
Please go right on over to him because
Right.
that is not my expertise.
Right.
But it's just really mentally. So what we do, we go through like personal tests.
Right.
Personality tests. People don't realize how personality connects to your career path.
That's right. That's
Because a
right.
lot of us they told us to go to school and go to college and get an education. And you get in school and you knew something within you when you were taking those classes, you're like, this doesn't connect.
Right.
But because it doesn't connect with your personality.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so that's what it's all about. It's really focusing on the mental part of it. And I give the foundation. I am your baby steps. If you've already went past that step, I may not be for you and you may not be for me.
That's
if
right.
you're only coming in to just make money, I may not be for you and you may not be for me.
Right.
If you're coming in to do business with purpose, and that's what this ultimate course is about.
Right.
It's business with purpose.
Right.
Find a purpose. Don't just say, well, I just want the money.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's not going to solve it. It's all on the mental side.
Right. And the thing about transitioning from being an entrepreneur with an idea or an entrepreneur with a vision to establishing a business, it's all about that mindset shift. You have to have that mindset shift. You have to have that mindset of going from just hustling to establishing a legitimate business. Going from, I don't think I can do it, to, yes, I can do
Yes.
it, you know, and I will do it, right? And these are some of the things that Samantha will discuss in her seminar, her webinar, Unstuck, and we'll give you the website
Just
address.
so I can interject on that,
Yeah.
is that, you know what, some people can do it by themselves and write out a plan and get everything going.
Yeah.
But some people need that support. Like one of the young ladies that was in my class, she's a teacher for over 15 years, but
Right.
she reached out and she said, hey Samantha, I know you're good with something like that. And from the minute we spoke, she said, I need to sign up.
Right.
When I reached out to her afterwards, she said, I just got a speaking engagement. I'm about to write an ebook.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
So it's people want to do things. Everyone is born with a gift. That is my ultimate
Right.
belief.
Right.
It's scriptural, whether you believe in the Bible or not. The Bible is a book. Just like you pick up
It's a
any other
guide.
book.
It's a guide. It's a guide. Yes.
That everyone is born with a gift, but people don't know how to use the gift.
That's right.
And how do you connect your gift with whatever business you have? How
Right.
do you make that merge? It's just like with myself, mental health and business development. I knew I had a passion for both. Actually, I had a passion for business first.
Right.
Mental health came on me, and it's like, how do I merge those two?
Right.
And that was the ultimate thing. So it's that some people need the support. Some people I'm a compartmentalization kind of person.
Right,
When you go, and I hope I can pick this up and talk about
Oh,
it.
sure, because we're getting to the strategic plan, and a great segue because we definitely wanted to discuss the strategic plan that Samantha and I worked on. She came to me, and I consulted with her on developing her strategic plan for AuthenticMe Consulting. and it's really some great ideas. I really saw the passion and where she was coming from as far as the idea and the vision, and we actually captured it all in in the strategic plan that I wrote for her. So talk a little bit about how that worked for you.
How this worked for me is that what was in my mind, even though I didn't give you a whole lot, because now I can look back a year from now and I can say, I didn't give Austin much.
Right.
But I gave you worked with what I gave you.
Yeah.
And you were able to put it on paper. I'm now able to go back and flip, and I know, okay, Austin said by the time 2021, these are the things I should get done. These are my goals, this is my vision. So what this allowed me to do was have it on paper.
Right.
I couldn't do this by myself.
Right.
Now some people can.
Right.
Those are not the people for me, and I'm not for them.
Right. Exactly.
But I know that I needed to reach out to someone that has that expertise to say, "Oh, please put this on paper for me." And that's what I advise everyone that comes through my session. Go to someone, and I refer them to you. Yes, I did.
Right.
I'm not,
right.
maybe biased.
No. You stay with the mental health.
Yes.
Because I can do nothing for them in that area.
No, maybe biased when I mean in referring them to the business
right.
plan. It's like, no, you need someone that helps you put it on paper.
Right,
and so what you did for me is that when you gave this to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my Bible.
Right.
This is like another Bible that I have.
Right.
And I can easily flip through. So now I know that I've gotten a few things off the list that you have given me. Now I have to go back now and say, what else do I need to do? And it's, what's interesting is that from the time that we did this lean plan to now I've grown so much.
Right.
Now things have expanded. Now I see a broader area that I can go into. And so that's what that did for me.
Right, and the Lean Strategy Plan captures Samantha's goals and objectives, the vision she has for AuthenticMe Consulting. It captures her SWOT analysis. It captures the business description. It looks at how she plans to grow revenues over the first year of her business, and so many different things, right? Her competitive advantage, how she differentiates from other consultants in her respective field, in her authority. So we definitely wanted to capture that for her business, But how can people find you if someone is sitting at home and they're like, I really need to talk to someone, right? How can someone find you? Your website again, we can restate the website again, your email address, your phone number, your social media handles. Just tell people how they can find you, and we'll put it up also on the video, so this way you can read it as she says it, because we really want you to do the due diligence to reach out to someone if you need help. Samantha established AuthenticMe Consulting to really help folks, and we definitely want you to reach out to her business and to consult and to work with her as she works with you. So tell them how they can get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me on my website, Samantha Samuels. My name, SamanthaSamuels.com. And the reason I did that with AuthenticMe is to bridge, because there's so many facets of me.
Right.
So that's the umbrella. So Samantha Samuels, you can reach me on Facebook at either AuthenticMe Consulting LLC or Samantha Samuels, and Instagram, and even also on TikTok.
On
as
TikTok.
AuthenticMe. I'm on TikTok. You can call me at 404-661-0400. Again, that number is 404-661-0400. Or you can email me at either SamanthaOSamuels@gmail.com or AuthenticMeConsultingLLC@gmail.com.
And then I'm going to put it up on the video, so this way you can see it as well. But Samantha, I want to thank you so much. I understand it is Valentine's weekend, and I'm keeping you away from Mr. Samuels. And I'm not trying to, keep the two of you separated. Congratulate Samantha. She and her husband just renewed their vows about 2 weeks ago. I had the pleasure of being there and witnessing them renewing their vows.
Thank you, yes.
How many years?
19/20.
20, 19, 20 years, right? And
20 years.
That's significant, man.
Yes.
And I always like to see a husband and wife who works together and do things together and build together. It is so refreshing to see that. And Samantha, I just want to thank you so much for this interview and sitting down with me today. Mental health is something that we really want to address in this country, right? Anxiety and depression and suicide, we really have to address the challenges that people are faced with when they're suffering in silence, right? And Samantha's business, her consulting business, AuthenticMe Consulting, works with individuals who are suffering from these challenges and to help you overcome those challenges, help you overcome the stress and the anxiety, and to get back to health.
And I do want to interject just a little bit.
Yes.
And childhood trauma.
Childhood trauma.
What a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of your anxiety, a lot of your depression, a lot of the mental health in adults, it stems from a childhood. So when you can get to the core, the root cause of whatever that problem is,
Right.
that's when you can solve it.
That's right.
It's getting to that childhood, and it's just a few. And I do a childhood trauma test as well.
Okay.
And within less than 10 minutes, we can really figure out have you gone through childhood based on questions, about 20 questions, and narrow it down, and you can pinpoint. Okay, this is what the root cause is.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And definitely, the information is there for you to look at. Contact Samantha Samuels. Have that conversation with her. Do you do like a consultation, like a phone consultation in the beginning, where you sit down and you assess a person's needs and what they're going through?
Yes, so we do, it's called a discovery session. And so you have 30 minutes with me where we go through a discovery session. Number one, to see if you and I are compatible. Because I may be a mental health coach, but I may not be compatible to you. And so we go through that session, and it's 30 minutes for free. We go through a discovery session, and I give you basic questions to answer, and then from there you decide if you want to build a relationship with me, and if you want me to help you on your journey of finding your true, authentic self, and that is it. Find yourself. As someone would say, I don't know who said it, that it's best to be yourself, and I'm not saying it at the same time because someone else is already taking.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't ever try to be someone else.
You're just quoting. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. We should never live in silence anymore. Like there is no shame in the game. Listen, everybody coming out, so come on out and tell your story and be free. Free yourself. Free yourself, because it's amazing when you come out and when you realize, like, this is who I am. And I can embrace me. And love me for me. And that's what it is.
That's right. Come on out and really touch someone and connect with someone and contact someone. You do not have to suffer in silence. This pandemic is now in its second year, and we are hoping now that we have some responsible leadership in place, that we can have access. We'll now have access to vaccines and treatment and a coronavirus plan that will get us back to being a healthy nation and a healthy world, because this is a global pandemic. All right, it really is. Well, thank you again, Samantha.
Thank you.
I really appreciate discussing this with you. And my name is Austin Thompson again. This is the On Location Spotlight interview that I usually do with small business owners. Today, the interview is with Samantha Samuels, and she is the founder and she is the CEO of AuthenticMe Consulting. All right. So I would like for you to like the video, to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please leave a comment and share the video. All right, because this is very important information. We want you to share it. All right. So check out all the videos that you see on TM Consulting LLC. Again, my name is Austin Thompson with Thompson Management Consulting. We'll have more wonderful interviews like this coming up. Happy Black History Month again to everyone. Happy Valentine's weekend. And please stay safe. Wear your masks, and we're going to put our masks back on. Continue to socially distance and take care of yourselves and your families. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.